Hi friends, hello. Welcome to Crack UPSC CSC with India's largest online learning platform, an academy. This is Kiran Anishetty, faculty for political science, public administration, polity, issues in governance and ethics. Friends, today we are going to discuss in this session very important topic for prelims as well as mains. Many number of times, many questions have been asked from this area, that is the governor. What you will get from an academy? You will get daily live classes, live tests, quizzes, structured courses, unlimited access to videos on UPSC civils exam prelims as well as mains. You can prepare with the top educators of an academy, Mrunal Patel, Roman Saini, including me. An academy provides the videos and courses for UPSC prelims and mains on subjects like polity, history, economy, geography, ethics, issues in governance, etc. You can subscribe for 12 months. If you use my promo code, that is capital KIRAN, you will get 10% discount. If you subscribe for 24 months, it will be all the more good, because just for 64,000, you will be getting 24 months subscription. Unacademy has come up with new subscription, that is iconic subscription. The most important feature of this iconic subscription is personal mentorship, that is personal coaching. If you subscribe, I will be personally guiding you with regard to many subjects such as public administration, political science, ethics, polity, issues in governance. You will be getting daily questions on mains. You can write answers to these questions, personalized feedback from me, as well as other mentors that will be appointed by an academy. Daily live classes you will have, unlimited test practice, structured schedule. Hence, I recommend that you please subscribe this iconic subscription. It is just 57,600 per annum, and you use, you will get 10% discount. After 10% discount, it is 57,600. Promo code is capital KIRAN. If you subscribe for 24 months, it will be 89,100. The office of the governor. The governor is nominal executive at state level, as well as he is the representative of central government at the state. Since our constitutional system is parliamentary form of government, which is characterized by existence of dual executive, that is nominal executive and real executive. At national level, at union level, president is the nominal executive and the prime minister and his council of ministers are real executive. Governor at state level is nominal executive, and he acts as representative of central government. Why this office of governor was envisaged by our constitutional makers? Most unfortunately, some immature political comments are coming from various corners, including some online learning, other online learning platforms, and some so-called political analysts, etc. The governor of the post is exploited by most of the parties who rule at the center. Hence, it should be abolished. But our constitutional makers, they have tremendous political wisdom. In Sanskrit, an opt word is there called kavi. In Telugu, in our Telugu, kavi means poet. But according to Sanskrit, kavi is not just a poet. Kavi is the person who can foresee things that are going to happen after 100, 200 years, 300 years, like that. The generations to come, who can foresee the future that is going to happen. Our constitution makers, with tremendous political wisdom and political prudence, they envisaged this office of the governor. Even the commissions on center-state relations. First commission on center-state relation, Sarkaria Commission. The second commission on center-state relations, M.M. Poonchi Commission. Both of them never advocated for abolishment of this constitutional post, which still has constitutional sanctity. What could be the reason? Our democracy is immature democracy, where the voter being influenced by primordial loyalties such as caste, regional feelings, language, etc. These primordial loyalties, such as loyalty to his region, his language, his caste, may act as centrifugal forces. In political parlance, they are termed as dissiparous tendencies, which ultimately result in balkanization of the country. Balkanization means the country is divided into many smaller independent nations. What happened with regard to the Russia? In order to prevent such kind of diabolical consequences, our constitution makers envisaged this gubernatorial post. Still, it has constitutional sanctity. Why it is so? When we discussed, when we discuss the powers and functions of government, you will understand. That in objectives of the post of governor are to act as nominal executive at state level and to act as representative of the central government. The office of the governor has been mentioned from Article 153 to Article 167 in Part 6 of the Constitution. In Part 6 of the Constitution. Qualifications of the person who is going to be appointed as the governor. He should be citizen of India. He should be of 35 years age. The political conventions which are to be followed, generally these political conventions are followed. Political conventions means unwritten political principles which are backed by tradition and custom. In our earlier sessions also we discussed about political conventions. Political conventions, these are not written in the constitution, but they are generally practiced. What are these two political conventions with regard to the appointment of the governor? He should not belong to the state which he is going to be appointed as governor. He should not belong to the state to which he is going to be appointed as governor. Then the chief minister of the state concerned should be consulted when the governor is going to be appointed. The first principle is generally practiced till now. Generally, it has not been broken. but the second principle, most of the times it is not practiced. The next fact, which is very, very important, that is, according to Seventh Amendment Act, same person can be appointed as governor for two or more states. The Seventh Amendment Act, same person can be appointed as governor for two or more states. Governor for two or more states. Then the term of office, Article 156 defines the term of office, that is generally 5 years. But always remember, it is not stipulated time. The governor can be removed from the office or he can be transferred within 5 years at any point of time at the pleasure of the president. At the pleasure of the president. That means on the advice of Council of Ministers headed by Prime. We have seen in 2014 when, as soon as Narendra Modi government assumed the office, many governors were shunted out and some other have been transferred to insignificant states, smaller states. I should not say, I'm sorry to say that they are not insignificant as such, but from a bigger state like Maharashtra to the governor was transferred to Mizoram. Doesn't mean that Mizoram is an insignificant state. All are like equal. The way both the eyes are equal to a human being, all states are equal. But when the governor is transferred from a big state like Maharashtra to a smaller state, a kind of repentance may be there on the part of that particular governor, and ultimately it may result in resignation. So it is not stipulated time. He can be removed from the office at any point of time, or he can be transferred at any point of time within 5 years from the date of appointment as governor by the president on the advice of Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister. Governors functions as Chancellor of State Universities. Very, very important fact, friends. Governors functions as Chancellor of State Universities are defined by laws made by State Legislative Assembly. They are not defined in the Constitution. They have been defined by the laws made by State Legislative Assembly. That you remember. Many times this fact was asked in UPSC prelims. Please remember, because we tend to make a mistake. UPSC is very shrewd, is past master in laying trap for the aspirants. We will be under the pressure of exam in the examination hall, and we may tend to commit these errors. So remember, governors functions as Chancellor of State Universities are defined by the laws made by State Legislative. Then legislative functions of the governor. Legislative functions of the governor. 1/6 members of State Legislative Council nominated by the governor under Article 171 provision. 1/6 members of State Legislative Council. This is also, friends, always remember, composition of State Legislative Council is very, very important for the exam. From this area also, many times the questions being asked, the composition of State Legislative Council. 1/3 are elected by the members of State Legislative Assembly. Then 1/6 are nominated by the governor. 1/12 are elected by peers, standing graduates. Then 1/12 will be elected by teachers. Then 1/3 will be elected by representatives of local self-governing institutions. Like that, The composition of state legislative council is very important. Why it is so important? It is not because that state legislative council as such is important at state legislature. No, never ever compare state legislative council with Rajya Sabha. We cannot compare. Rajya Sabha has tremendous powers, but whereas state legislative council is just an appendage, doesn't have any powers. It can just delay the legislative process at state level, but it cannot reject any bill. It cannot amend any bill. So never ever compare the upper house of state legislature with that of the union. But despite of that, why UPSC poses questions from the composition of state legislative council? It is because here also catch is laid. You tend to be confused because of the nature of the composition of legislative council. One third from local bodies, one third from members of state legislative assembly, 1/12 from 3 years standing graduates, 1/12 by teachers, 1/6 by governor. This by business is there, no? 1/12, 1/6, 1/3, 1/3. In these calculations, we tend to commit mistakes. Wherever there are chances of confusion, there the UPS is struck. In cricket, in slog overs, when the tailenders come for batting, what do the pace bowlers, how do they bowl? They bowl in block hole. They try to bowl Yorkers or bounces, short pitch games. These are the tactics of pace bowlers, fast bowlers in slog overs against the batsmen, especially the tailenders. In the same way, UPSC also knows where the catch can be easily laid and where the aspirant can be easily booked. So be careful. 1/6 of the members of State Legislative Council are nominated by the governor under Article 175, Provision 5. The governor decides the questions of disqualification of members of state legislature. The governor decides questions of disqualification of members of state legislature under Article 192. Under Article 192. Here also this one is very important. The disqualification of members of state legislature on the grounds that have been mentioned in the constitution and on the grounds that have been prescribed by Representation of People's Act 1951. They are decided by the governor. Once again, I repeat my statement. Questions of disqualification of members of state legislature on the grounds that have been mentioned in the constitution as well as the grounds that have been prescribed by Representation of People's Act 1951. The governor decides the disqualification. But questions of disqualification of members of state legislature on the grounds of defection, disqualification of members of state legislature, that is, disqualification of MLAs, MLCs on the grounds of defection, are decided by the presiding officer of the House. Speaker in the case of State Legislative Assembly, Chairman in case of State Legislative Council. Speaker in the case of State Legislative Assembly, the Chairman in the case of State Legislative Council. So this fact you always remember. This fact is relevant at union level also. The questions of disqualification of members of parliament on the grounds that have been mentioned in the constitution, on the grounds that have been prescribed by Representation of People's Act 1951 are decided by President. But the disqualification of members of the House on the grounds of defection are decided by the presiding officer of the House concerned. The Speaker in case of Lok Sabha, the Chairman of Rajya Sabha in case of Rajya Sabha. This is where the office of the Speaker is blamed nowadays because the speakers are acting in partisan manner by not acting against the by not acting on the members who defect from opposition parties to ruling parties. This aspect we discussed in our previous video, previous session. That is the reasons for decline of the prestige of parliamentary form of government in India. Next, the governor can reserve state bills for the consideration of the president. Very, very, very important article. That is Article 200. Under Article 200, the governor can reserve state bills for the consideration of the president. What is the significance of this article? First, when we discussed in our previous video, the discretionary powers of the president. Most of the aspirants, they make this mistake by assuming that the President of India does not have any constitutional powers. But the President of India does have some constitutional powers, which are very, very important. And this is one of the instances. Under Article 200, the governor can reserve any state bill for the consideration of the president, including money bill. Including money bill can be reserved by the governor under Article 200. Then what happens? The state bills that have been reserved by the governor under Article 200 for the consideration of the president has absolute veto power. The president has absolute veto power. Second, absolute veto power means the president can summarily reject the bill. That is one. Second, there is no time limit mentioned in the constitution within which the president needs to convey his decision. There is no time limit that has been prescribed in the constitution within which president has to convey decision. Third, if president rejects the bill, if the president rejects the bill, he need not to state the reasons for the rejection. He need not to state the reasons for the rejection of the bill. Because of these three provisions, the Article 200 and Article 201 become of the penal provisions in the Constitution. Of course, under Article 200 deals with the assent of the governor for state bills. In the same Article 200, the governor has the option that he can reserve the state bill for the consideration of the president. During Congress time, during the Congress rule in India at center, this is one of the provisions of the Constitution that has been misutilized for the most number of times after Article 356. After Article 356, that is imposition of president rule. After that article, it is Article 200 that has been misutilized for most number of times during Congress. Of course, our biased media not, what do you say, it does not highlight such kind of things. So this is Article 200. Many times, some governors, they relegated the duly elected state legislature defunct, because any bill reserved by the any bill that has been duly legislated by the state legislative assembly can be reserved by the governor under Article 200 for the consideration of the president. Then that bill can be summarily rejected by the president. This is how the duly elected legislative assembly can be relegated to defunct. The governor can virtually make the democratically elected legislative assembly to sink in atrophy. He can virtually make democratically elected state legislative assembly to sink in atrophy. Nowadays, a huge hue and cry is going on in Andhra Pradesh with regard to three capitals: executive capital, legislative capital, and judicial capital. Opposition parties, people are agitating against these three capitals. The center can easily prevent such plans on the part of state government just by reserving the bill, the Andhra Pradesh State Legislative Assembly passed bill, the CRDA bill, under Article 200. If the governor of Andhra Pradesh reserves the bill for the consideration of the president, that is the end of three capital story. But here, following state bills should be reserved by the governor for the consideration of the president compulsorily. Following state bills should be reserved by the governor for the consideration of the president compulsorily. What are they? We will discuss. Any bill which deals with matters under Article 31A. Article 31A deals with compulsory acquisition of property for public purpose. Article 31A deals with compulsory acquisition of property for public purpose. Compulsory acquisition of property for public purpose. If state bill comprises any matter under Article 31A, that should be reserved by the governor for the consideration of the president, because it requires prior assent of the president. Any bill which deals with matters under Article 304 also requires the prior assent of the president. And any bill which negatively affects directive principles of state policy or fundamental rights should be reserved for the consideration of the president. And any bill which endangers the position of High Court, any bill which endangers position of High Court, then any bill which is of utmost importance from national perspective, these bills should be reserved by the governor for the consideration of the president. These first two bills, any bill which deals with the matters under Article 31A, and any bill which deals with the matter under Article 304, both of them should get prior assent of the president. Both of them should get prior assent of the president. You remember, this is very, very important fact. There are certain state bills which require prior assent of the president. Till now, we may be thinking only certain central bills, parliament bills, which require prior assent of the president. In addition to certain bills that are legislated by the parliament, there are some state bills that require prior assent of the president. These are any bill which deals with the matters under Article 31A, and any bill which deals with the matters under Article 30. Then judicial powers of the governor. Governor's clemency powers have been enshrined in Article 161. Governor's clemency powers have been enshrined in Article 161, remission, pardon, commutation, remission, respite, reprieve. Pardon means total absolvement of the convicted person. That means the convicted person totally he will be set free. He will be saved not only from the death sentence. There will not be any imprisonment. He will be like normal person. He will be like normal person. Generally, when an individual is convicted for any crime, apart from the main sentence, he will be inflicted upon some disabilities. For instance, if an individual is convicted for a murder, he has been sentenced to 14 years of rigorous imprisonment. Apart from that 14 years of rigorous imprisonment, some disabilities will be imposed on him as corollary, what you say, negative impact. Like he will not be allowed to enter into government services. He will not be allowed to contest the elections. He will not be allowed to vote. He will not be allowed to travel abroad like that. In addition to the main sentence, that is 14 years of rigorous imprisonment, all these disabilities which are complementary to the main sentence, they will also be removed. He will be like normal person. That is the meaning of pardon. That is the meaning of pardon. Then what is commutation? Commutation means awarding lighter form of punishment which involves change in the nature of the punishment. Awarding lighter form of punishment which involves change in the nature of the punishment. Sentence has been commuted to life imprisonment. Generally, we mistake the word commutation with pardon. Always we think that when an individual, what you say, places mercy petition in front of the president for, what you say, being saved from death sentence, we think that that is pardon. No, that is commutation. When death sentence has been converted into imprisonment, life imprisonment or 14 years of rigorous imprisonment, that is commutation. Commutation involves awarding lighter form of punishment which involves change in the nature of the sentence. Which involves change in the nature of the sentence. That is commutation. Generally, this aspect we come across in newspapers and news channels. The convicted person petition for commutation. Death sentence should be the request is to be converted to imprisonment, commutation. Then remission. Remission means awarding lighter form of punishment which doesn't involve change in the nature of the sentence. Awarding lighter form of punishment which does not involve change in the nature of the sentence. For instance, 14 years of rigorous imprisonment has been converted into 7 years of rigorous imprisonment. 14 years of rigorous imprisonment has been converted into 7 years of rigorous imprisonment. That is remission. Then what is respite? Awarding lighter form of punishment in the light of some special circumstances. For instance, Nalini, the convicted person in Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, her death sentence was respited, and under the respite, her death sentence was converted into life imprisonment because of some special circumstance. That was she was mother of a small child. Recently, the child got married and she was released on parole to attend that marriage. Those times she was a little girl. That is reprieve. So awarding lighter form of punishment because of some special circumstances such as being pregnant woman, being mother of a small child, suffering from terminal disease such as cancer or AIDS, or being in very old age. Because of these some special circumstances, lighter form of punishment will be awarded. That is respite. In this case, you will get one doubt, pertinent doubt. If pregnant woman were to be given respite and her death sentence was converted into life imprisonment because of her being child of a small, what is it? Uh, she is going to be delivered. Then what after the delivery of the child? Will she be again put to gallows? Will she be again put to death by death sentence? Or another instance, if you take same Nalini's case, she was given respite. Her death sentence was converted into life imprisonment because she was mother of a small child. What if tomorrow the child grown adult when she attains 18 years age, when she becomes major, then will she be put to again death? The cancer patient is given respite. His sentence has been converted into life imprisonment. But after that, he has been cured from cancer disease. Then will she be put to, will he be put to death sentence again? No. Once the respite has been given, it is permanent. Always remember. Once the respite is given, it is permanent. The convicted person will be saved permanently from the earlier sentence. The earlier sentence. That you always remember. Then reprieve. Reprieve means temporary suspension of execution of the sentence. Reprieve means temporary suspension of execution of the sentence. Tomorrow, somebody is going to be, what to say, hanged to death. Today, the court sanctions reprieve. That sentence will be postponed. That is reprieve. Is these things you always remember in your mind? What is pardon? What is commutation? What is remission? What is respite? What is reprieve? Most probably they can be asked in match the following. Apparently they look very simple. Apparently they look very simple. But once you sit in the examination hall, when you write the answers, you tend to confuse. So be careful. Be careful and have precise memory of these minute confusing facts. Minute confusing facts. Then the governor makes appointments, transfers, and he gives promotions of district judges in consultation with the High Court. He makes appointments, transfers, promotions of district judges in consultation with High Court. And the governor makes appointments to state judicial members of state judicial services in consultation with court and state public service commission. Remember again here UPSC will, what you say, lay the catch, the trap with regard to the transfers, promotions of district judges. The governor consults High Court only. But with regard to the similar functions related to the members of state judicial services. Governor consults the High Court as well as State Public Service Commission. The governor consults the High Court as well as State Public Service Commission. Who are the members of State Judicial Services? State Judicial Services comprises any judicial post below district judge. State Judicial Services comprises any judicial post below a judicial post below the district judge. With regard to appointment, transfers, postings of members of State Judicial Services, the governor consults both High Court as well as State Public Service Commission. With regard to the appointments, transfers, promotions of district judges, the governor consults the High Court of the state concerned. These two differences you please remember. Then the governor is consulted by the president with regard to appointment of judges of High Court. The governor is consulted by the president with regard to appointment of judges of High Court. These are judicial powers of the governor. Thank you, friends. Use my promo code, that is capital KIRAN, and get 10% discount. If you want these PPTs, you please subscribe to this post Telegram. Thank you. Thanks a lot.